2020 product assortments will now become 2021s. I think it's time for the retailer to work closer to the manufacturer. It's going to be very transparent. You're going to collaborate, and the more collaboration and transparency you have, those are the partners that will be your long-term value partners forever. And that's the way to do it. You got to get collaborating with your clients and working it out. And if they have situations where they need your help, then you got to be there for them, or vice versa. You've got to ask them for it and not be afraid to ask. You have to ask around for help. That's why belonging to a good conscious circle like yourself and many of our mutual friends, you have to be able to not be afraid to ask them and let your guard down, because they're there to help you.
Amen. That's exactly what I learned from the storms when I found myself alone, buried alive for almost 24 hours. And it took me months to realize that I didn't know anybody else who'd weathered the most powerful storm in the Atlantic Basin at that time alone. And I thought, what the hell was I thinking, right? That, so we all tend to isolate. And right now it's self-imposed, right? Yeah. We don't want to spend time making the effort or getting back on our screens or getting into social media. So, how do we develop that muscle of being willing to ask, when the phone or the screen weighs so much?
You got to let your guard down. You got to just know that the world is out there. Like you said earlier, people are getting more friendly. We're rebooting and saying, you know what? What's really important in life? I mean, I have a phrase I use forever with my kids. I could live in a tent. Not that I do, not that I want to, because I think we all share one thing. We all want certainty and security. Everybody in the world, I don't care who you are. You could be an animal, you could be a grandmother, you could live in any country in the world, but we all share the need for certainty and security. And if you can just realize that people are there to help, especially within your conscious circle, and let your guard down, not be afraid to ask for help, because believe it or not, you'll be surprised at how much you'll learn from it. I mean, you will learn a ton from the advice you're given from others. My kids, for example, I have 4 children. My daughter Courtney's 29, Mike Jr., your favorite, is 27. I have 2 Austins, one stepson, Austin, and one biological son, Austin. And, they call me all the time. And I tell you, I just want to get them on the phone and bring their spirits up. And no matter whatever challenge they're going, and they know they can call their good news only dad. And they can, elevate themselves to at least their attitude and their energy, because energy will help your mindset. You have to get yourself to an energy level that you're actually bringing it to other people, because it'll reflect on you. Like we said, the mirror, you have to look in the mirror every day and say, hey, bring good energy to people today. Did I bring enough energy to people today? And if I didn't, take the percentage and make it better tomorrow. And that's the way you do it.
Yes. And, one of the things that I've heard is that, one of the things that was powerful to me was that idea that we don't know what other people are going through. So when we think it's only us, we're the only ones who are isolating and lonely or alone or overwhelmed by circumstance or unable to figure out a solution for a problem, we tend to think it's just we're the only ones going through it, and that everyone else has it all together, right? Because that's the perception that people want to create nowhere more than Southern California, right?
Totally. I got to tell you, too, and I think the people you spend your time with, and hopefully they're all giving you the healthy habits you need to have a healthy day, is they all have amazing amounts of wisdom. And you know what? The odds are they've gone through what you're going through, and they're going to be so engaged in pulling you through whatever challenge you're in, and it's going to feel good. I mean, I call them goosebump moments, man. I have so many in a day. I'm like, somebody calls me and I can cheer them up. Get out the phone. I'm like, wow, that was great. Follow them up the next day. And man, it just makes for a better day for everybody, for them, for you, for the people around you. And then you get to share the moment. It's like you get to share so much joy. And like I said to you in the last call, I love the fact that people call me GNO, good news only, because they come to me with good news. And how bad is that, right? And they know that I can get them to a level that they need to be at so that they can have a better day. Because, we have to live every day, and we have to share our knowledge with each other so that we can grow every day of our life. And it's possible. You just got to let it in.
Yes, I have chills just thinking about, and how much I miss you.
You too.
It's Yeah, I mean, we're not in this alone. And, I think that's the beauty of the situation we're in right now, globally, is that nobody's separate from it. No one's going to be untouched by it. So there's no ability to resist, as opposed to me and my hurricanes, or you and whatever things you've gone through, that, people are in this. So we can all look at each other and say, I get it. I understand.
I
And,
agree.
let the people who've tread those paths before and come up through something be able to help inspire your actions, right? So you have a course of action that you can take even while you're home alone and unable to, get out and do.
I agree. You can't let the situation around you be a distraction either. Like we are in a situation. Don't let it distract you. Keep going forward. And like I said earlier, you get with one of your passions, enjoy it, and embrace it, and bring people in with you. And I think one of the biggest things of the day is laughter. You gotta laugh every day. If you're not laughing, then find someone who can bring you to laughter. It'll help so much.
Probably not on a screen, right? Somebody
Yeah.
real. I mean,
Yeah.
not on a
Exactly.
television or a Netflix show or something like that, hopefully.
I mean, thank God for Zoom, man. It's amazing how much people are learning about technology and be able to stay present with people. I never thought I'd be showing fashion product and sportswear to a buyer on a Zoom call and then being ever okay with it. And you know what? In our new reality, they're going to be okay with it.
Well, and it's going to allow us, I grew up at a time before the internet, right? So I built a global business. I worked with clients on 5 continents by phone, some of whom I've never met. And it's an extraordinary thing. So I love talking on the phone. And I used to always fear video conferencing because I couldn't walk around. I had to, I felt like I had to dress for the occasion, and we're being asked to make ourselves more visible in that way. And I think that's a great step forward for humanity.
Yeah, I mean, at least you only have to dress waist up and be okay. They always say some of the reporters on TV, they're wearing jeans on the top, they got a suit on the top and jeans on the bottom. I mean, really, it doesn't matter. But what matters is they've got the energy and they're delivering. But how you show up is by being someone that adds, that actually always serves first and adds value always, because we all have value to give someone. And you got to give away your values to people. That's the key.
Well, I think that's so it keeps us young and energized and contributing, which are all things that lead to a long, healthy life. And, I just can't tell you how thrilled I am to be having this conversation with you. And I wonder if you could share, I know that your mom has been your greatest mentor. And I wonder if you could share a bit about some of her mentoring and what are some of the biggest lessons you've gotten from her.
Yeah, my mother is an amazing woman. So here's a woman whose husband died at 44 of colon cancer. I was 15 years old at the time, and we were in this really beautiful home. We had no money, and we lived on the beach in Huntington, Long Island, North Shore. They call it the Gold Coast. And my mother never ever made me feel like we were ever struggling. And as a older adult now, knowing and talking with her, she would explain to me how much she was challenged by those times. But me and my brothers and sisters, I had 8 of them. She lost 2 children to leukemia. So we had constant. I mean, my life was a funeral, like all the way up till I was 18 years old. Every year, uncle, aunt, brother, sister. I mean, it was crazy.
Father.
And you had to get through that. It was like, but you realized the celebration of life for those people and the memories they gave you. My dad still instilled in my head big time. And my mother, she kept us all together. Like I could never tell my mother anything bad about any of my siblings. She would tell me, oh yeah, but the good side of that is the following. She would always have something great to say no matter what. I could never talk bad about any of my brothers and sisters. She wouldn't, she would let me say it, but she wouldn't allow it. The result would be I would feel, hey, you know what, Mom, I think you're she was always right. And she's a very spiritual person. And she's been through so much herself. And I just think that matter of fact, to stay the house. She babysat couples that went into New York City, their kids, while they went to the city for, each kid would pay a certain amount, and for about 15 years. So she was able to afford the home and stay in that home. And she's still in that home today. Crazy.
Amazing. And I have, I can't tell you what an inspiration this conversation has been for me, and I'm sure for all of our listeners, and how beautiful to be able to share that legacy that your mother gave to you. And Mike, you are an extraordinary human. I'm just honored to call you my friend. You've given us so much to inspire us, lift us up, and turn us into better people by following your wisdom. Thank you so much for being our guest today. I'm so grateful to you.
Thank you too, Christine.
Have a fantastic day, everybody. Thanks to Mike NICKLAS, and we look forward to seeing you on our next Career Invincibility show.
Good
Take
news
care,
only.
everybody. You betcha.